Ultrarocker, on a rendez-vous aujourd'hui à la Maroquinerie à Paris, dans le 20e, pour le concert de Monster Truck et Simo. J'ai le plaisir d'avoir aujourd'hui Brendan avec moi, clavier de Monster Truck. Brendan, it's a pleasure. Thanks to meet you again.
Pour moi aussi.
For the second time. Sitting Heavy has been released for around 2 months by now. What are the first return you have, and how do you feel it?
It's feeling really good. All the reviews are mostly really good. All our fans seem to really like it. Lots of people singing along to the songs at the shows already, so that means they're already out there buying the album. So yeah, we're really happy at the way it's going, and hopefully it keeps continuing and we get lots more people coming to the show.
Sure. I heard that you used to find the name of the track before composing those tracks. How did you work on this second album?
A little bit of that. Sometimes, I mean, you get the title happens, you know, like even the title of the album, Sitting Heavy, that was Steve just saying something funny one day, and they were all like, yeah, that's a good title. Like, so sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes it comes from the lyrics, so like a little bit of both, I think. Yeah.
Sitting Heavy, by my opinion, is much more groovy and varied than Curiosity was. We feel a real evolution between them. Can you tell us more about this evolution between the two albums?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think we're just maturing our sound, and as a band, you know, we really liked what we created with Curiosity, and that took us to a lot of places and made us lots of fans. So we didn't want to change too much from that, but we also wanted to grow as songwriters and as a group, you know. I started to play some pianos. I never played pianos on Curiosity, so it's a little bit of growth, but in the same way that all rock and roll is. It's still the Monster Truck sound. We're still developing it, but yeah, the grooves are very important, and we just want to keep growing as a band. So I think that's what we've done on it.
In that way, you spent the 2 last years touring around US and Europe for Curiosity. How did you succeed to compose and find time to work on Sitting Heavy?
I don't know. It's pretty hard. Like, but the riffs are always coming in. Jeremy will just be playing one day, and it's like, oh, that's new. And then he'll play it a little bit every day, and so on the bus or on the sound check or whatever. So we're always thinking about that, and especially once we're touring for so long on the old one, you start to get those songs together, and whenever we're home, we'll record them on the phone or just to have them, and we just keep putting them in the bank, and then when the touring is finished, then we'll go and really look at them all and then start working harder on the song. So we're always thinking of the next album.
The first single, Don't Tell Me How to Live, seems to be really personal. I know that's more for John actually, but can you tell us more about this track and its origins?
Well, I think he was sitting at home, just on the couch playing guitar, and his girlfriend's just like, what are you doing? Like, we gotta go do something. He's like, I'm working right now. Like, don't tell me how to live. And it was like kind of a joke about that. Like, but it's like, it's a message that a lot of people feel, you know, everyone's telling them what to do, and it's like, that's a good message for the people to, you know, don't tell me how to live.
Don't tell me how to live. Yeah. One of the other tracks moved our attention as the Enforcer, which moved clearly reference to your passion for hockey.
Yes.
I like the atmosphere of this song, the importance of the unity, the team, but in that case in a fight.
Yes.
Could you tell us more about that?
Well, some of our songs were getting played in the hockey arenas, like for the games, like between the plays they put on a song for like 10 seconds, and our songs that work the best in those arenas are the chanting ones, like so we have that whoa whoa part, and we really wanted to make sure we had some tracks like that.
Dimension,
And then of course the Enforcer and the fighting is really exciting part of hockey, so we try to make a song that like embodies that excitement, and so that the Enforcer came along, and then we pitched it to the CBC, which is our Canadian, or not CBC, Hockey Night in Canada is like the big Saturday night hockey TV show, and so they played that song at the start of the broadcast one time, and it was this. It worked so good.
Yeah, the best advertisement you can have.
Of course, it was so great. You know, the way that they cut it together with all the hits, and like it just looked so cool, and we were just so excited when that happened.
In that way, talking about the patch of OK you have on the jacket, we would like to talk about the artwork of the album.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about this?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of, we love patches ourselves. Everyone has jean jacket with patches all over them. So me and John were actually in our hotel room when we were doing a tour with Rival Sons back maybe a year and a half ago, let's say. So we had a day off in New York, and we went out, we were drinking, having a good night, and we came back home. We're just sitting on the couch, listening to some tunes, and we see our two jackets are on the chair, and they looked so cool with the patches. And then John started getting the idea, oh wait, what if we had a patch? What if we had patches all over the jacket, and then, oh yeah, we could put the song titles on the patches, and we just went from there, and then it was such a cool idea. And then the artist that did the patches was really good. Jeremy is a good graphic designer. He did some of them, and it was our love of patches that made it happen like that.
It's interesting because you see the jacket, you see Monster Truck, it's the same atmosphere, the same identity as you talk about your music.
Yes.
The visual is very representing Monster Truck atmosphere.
Exactly. We try to keep all that, keep the same feel and the look and the sound. We want it to be all work with each other really well.
Talking about live, by now you've been touring with Slash, Alice in Chains, ZZ Top, Deep Purple, Alter Bridge. How did you live it, sharing the stage and daily life on tour with guys like Slash, Mike Kennedy's, guys like that?
Yeah.
Did they give you advice about rockstar daily life?
Absolutely. Like we just really pay attention to how all those bands operate. Like how they get ready for the show, like how their crew is getting ready for the show, how they treat everybody. And like we've learned so much because those guys have been doing it for a long time, and they're some of the best in the world and the best that have ever done it. So yeah, we just try to learn as much as we can, and all of those guys, all that you mentioned, have always been really helpful to us, and we've made friends with them. It's funny, like we can text Miles and say what's up, and he's like such a nice guy, he'll get back. Same with Alice in Chains guy. I think Steve was just texting with Mike Inez, the bass player from Alice in Chains, saying, hey, we're playing in LA, you gotta come out. He's like, we're like, okay, you're gonna play bass on a song, because when we toured with them, sometimes he would come and play. So yeah, it's just so cool that we can call them friends, and that they really embrace our band. It's really special.
In that way, you started playing in bars and small concert room in Canada. Now you're touring in Europe, in the US for sure. What's your key to success? If you have to,
I don't really know.
It.
It's always funny. You never know how things are going to happen. You know, like we started the band for fun, just to play in bars and play with our friends and for our friends, and then more and more people start coming out, and it takes on a new life of its own. So we just really tried to put the music first, and like put on the best show we can every night, and play the songs as best as we can play them, and hopefully people respond to that, and they seem to be doing it. So, but yeah, we just really owe it to the music and to the fans to put on the best show we can. So that's the most important thing to us.
Céline Levy has been released on the label Mascot as Joe Bonamassa, for example.
Yeah.
Do you think that a blues music label is the right one to promote your music?
Yeah, I think so, because they also have done some good rock bands. Like they have a little bit of a varied roster, but they were the first label to have Volbeat, and they made How Big Did Volbeat get, like really big. Same thing's happening with Blackstone Cherry. So we really thought they did a really good job with those bands, and it's our kind of rock crowd. They have a good,
their market. Yeah.
Exactly. So they were just the best option, and so far everything's going really great. So it was a good move for us to go on that label.
In our case, as Ultrarock is a bridge between bands and their fans, in your case, which band or simply which song made you jump into rock music?
Oh man,
Yeah, I guess.
that's a tough one. Because I was a kid and I lived on a beach actually when I grew up. And my parents had a record player and they didn't have many records, but all day long I was a little boy and then learning how to play records. And so it was like Beach Boys and the Beatles and like Bob Seger, Meatloaf. My dad loved that Meatloaf album, so I played that one. So yeah, but since all I can remember, I just loved the music and all like Rod Stewart and all those kind of Simon and Garfunkel, that kind of thing. It's just like I just loved it forever, as long as I've ever known. And then I grow up and you get into punk rock music and like loud music and stuff like that, and I'm just like soaking all of it in. So the very first concert I ever went to, my uncle took me to see Van Halen when I was 13 years old, so
I can imagine the fist.
it was crazy. As soon as they got on stage, everybody stood up on top of their chair, and it was my first time at a concert, so it's like, this is what happens at every concert. This is so cool. I just want to keep doing this. So all those things have led me to here.
I was about to ask you, but I think it's the same thing. If you had one memory to share with us, on stage or outside of your monster truck experience,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Yeah, maybe that Van Halen one. That was pretty special.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it was really special on stage though when we got to play with Deep Purple. That was the first big band. It was about 4 years ago when we played. We did 4 shows with them in Canada.
Okay. 4 years ago, yeah.
And at some of the really famous venues around home, and that was just like magical. Like those guys are such a big influence on rock music as well as our band. Like they're just one of the ultimate ones. So once we were there with them, that was such a
Thanks so
special.
much.
Yeah.
Monster Truck et Simon en concert à la Maroquinerie à Paris, c'est ce soir et c'est avec Ultrarock. Thanks a lot.
Merci beaucoup.